As I look to the horizon, not a cloud, but then storming where the scope too cold. Seems like it crept up out of nowhere, all around you is not what you foretold. You never see it coming. You see that my mind is too fast for eyes. You're done, but the time is hit you. You're not surprised.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to have a moment of silence for February 28th of 2018 and the fundraiser that turned out to be the failure that never was. Thank you from GTG Network and Productions for that. It meant a lot to us. Phil, I'd like to think that, speaking to you directly, I'd like to think that I've tried to perpetuate the situation that was coming towards you. I knew where you were going already. I had already peeped the blueprint. I had already seen the situation well before you even laid it out. And even after you laid it out, I still tried to go ahead and give you the credit. Similar to Almighty Tevin. Similar to a bunch of people. Now, granted, I wasn't necessarily foolish enough to think that you would listen to anything that I had to say at face value. Similar to how some of the people that you send over here come over here and bash me, which is fine, because at least they can do that here. At least they can have something to say within some type of free boundaries that they don't have over there with your camp. But they weren't smart enough to peep the message. No one can ever attack the message. They can only attack the messenger. And that's fine. Because that's all you guys have. You know what I mean? That's all you. If the very Lord that you serve is simple-minded, then how are the followers going to be? How's the flock going to be? How's the sheep going to be? Well, you're sheep, by definition. With that being said, not too long ago, a couple of videos ago, I had introduced the concept of the gout, the doubt, and the snout. The trifecta. Praise be Almighty. That right there will be applied, ironically enough, to the failure which Phil has gone through right now. Phil, I hope you're peeping game on this, because this is important. Because I didn't think you were going to bomb as bad as you did. $106, $107 out of 2,000. You're hemorrhaging. You're sitting there hemorrhaging subs day by day. You're bleeding and you can't stop it. You're the stuffed pig that's about to be on the skewer with the apple in your mouth. And you can't do anything about it. You're just slowly on your side bleeding out, while all the other piglets are going ahead and being herded off into the pig pen until they get big enough to go ahead and enter into the fray. It's interesting how stuff like that happens. Now, with that being said, let's get to this trifecta. The gout, the doubt, and the snout. Ladies and gentlemen, this right here is the representation of Phil's tax situation, the Patreon and Twitch coming together as one goal, and then what ended up breaking the bank, essentially. Breaking this whole little con game, Ponzi scheme cartel that he had up is this Twitch sub drive fundraiser. That's what actually broke everything up. Now, I've already alluded to this in previous videos, but now we can actually break it down because you guys are seeing it somewhat in real time. So let's get into this. We start off with Phil's situation, his back taxes. And off of that back taxes, we can add the girlfriend onto that too, Kat. We'll talk about that in just a second. Because Lord knows, with a missing kitty around and Phil not knowing what he's going to do, someone's got to track that pussy down. With that being said, let's go ahead and go back to, like I said, the taxes. Back taxes, federal taxes. I have no money. My credit cards are maxed out. I'm so nervous about losing my house, guys. This is my business and my business is failing. I need your help. I so desperately need your help right now. So the fundraiser for Phil was the solution. Every 3 months, or no, every Yeah, every 3 months, he would have a fundraiser strictly for his taxes. I told you how this was going to be the long con. And if he played it smart, it could work. Now, Snort Brunel, shouts out Snort Brunel, actually has a video called The Infinite Tax Loop, I think it's called. We're going to go over that video, maybe not today, but in the next video maybe, or the next couple of videos, we're going to go over that video. Because it's a great video, and it'll flow into what I'm saying. So, with the tax situation and the fundraiser, that's the first part of the trifecta, the gout. Now let's get into the doubt. The doubt was him wanting to try to bring YouTube and Twitch together. How was he going to do that, ladies and gentlemen? He was going to do that by saying, if you guys want to contribute to the Patreon goals and whatnot, you need to do a little bit more than just donate to my Patreon. I need you to be a sub on Twitch. I'm transcending. I'm going ahead and transferring, and I'm moving my motivation from YouTube to Twitch. YouTube is nothing more than an archive to me. Twitch is the future for gamers. My future. DSP. So if you want to contribute to what I'm doing on stream, moving forward, I need you to be a sub. I need you to actually be invested in me. And then I need you to invest in Patreon so you can actually tell me what you want to vote on and what you want me to play. It was clever, Phil. It was clever. People in the detractor community, I know some of you guys don't like me calling that, but I'm going to call it that. But in the detractor community, peep game immediately. But the fan base was like, oh, well, yeah, this is brilliant. Yeah. Because now we're really going all in on it with Phil. We're really there to support him. And now we're guaranteed to have our voice heard. It was amazing how he made you guys believe that. It was amazing how he pulled the wool over your eyes and made you fall for the delusion, the trick. You know what I mean? It was amazing. The modern day con man on his couch with minimum effort convinced you that, hey, give me this money on both of these platforms and I'll do as you ask. Knowing damn well he'll end up rage quitting the game later on if it's too much for him. He's getting up there in age, his attention span isn't there, and if you guys aren't supportive on his streams, if you guys aren't interacting with him, which is code word for giving me money, I'm just going to quit the game. And what does he care? He already has your sub for the month, and he has your Patreon money. And I tried to say this already, but nobody wanted to peep the game. And that's fine. It's okay. It is what it is. For that point, Phil's pimp hand was on point. I got to give him credit. Not necessarily the greatest trick the devil ever pulled, but it was close enough. That right there was the doubt. Now let's get into the snout. The snout part is the greed. That right there is what ended up breaking all of this. And I had already said that he was pushing too far as it was. But Phil needed that extra little bit. He needed just that little bit more to take everything out. And I'll even explain to you why he did it. Because Phil won't do that. Phil won't be transparent with you and tell you what exactly was he going to do with all this. So I'll do it. Leave it to a detractor to tell you the truth. That Phil wasn't man enough to do himself. When it comes to the snout is the Twitch sub goal fundraiser. Now, most of you thought it was just a sub drive, but it was actually a fundraiser as well. It was disguised as, hey, you guys are going to come and contribute and help raise my sub count up to 600, 550, then 600, then 750, and yada, 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 etc., etc. That's what he propelled off to Phil's community. But the real scheme, though, was he was going to get another way for him to get some more money out of you guys. And as I had said, with the gout originally, that he was going to hold a fundraiser probably every 3 months, just for his taxes specifically. But the snout with the sub drive, that right there was probably going to happen every 2 months. Think of it as a mini event, a special event as he's calling it now. And that right there would not only pad the sub count on Twitch, bringing it up higher and higher and higher, but also it would sit there and bring a little bit of extra money into his pockets. An extra $2,000, $3,000, however much he thought he could pinch out of you guys. That's what the plan was. That's what the goal was. Now, I don't want to sit here and say that it wasn't a masterful plan. It was. In truth, it could have worked out very well if he had played the position. But here's the problem. I was always told and always taught the 5 P's. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. Let me repeat. The 5 P's. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. Patience is the key that leads into the 5 P's, and Phil doesn't have that. See, what Phil should have done is just stayed with the first 2 of the trifecta. The gout and the doubt. If he could have gotten away with that for a year, then he could have implemented number 3. But see, Phil got greedy. That first fundraiser worked out well for Phil. It worked out too well. And he even told you that, oh, I got to pay more money in now because I made so much extra money because you guys came through and helped me. It was essentially him blaming you guys for him making all this money, but it was the very money that he begged for and that he needed so badly. You know what I mean? But that right there, he told you. Subconsciously, he told you what the situation was. He laid the plan out for you. And that's what led into this. And I said this right here was too much. It was going to be too much because he was grasping for something that wasn't there. Now, I'm not the only person who said that. A lot of people here in the detractor community peak game on it. But now, Phil, you've lost everything. It's essentially you creating a house of cards, and you just went a little too far. You went a little too fancy. You wanted to over-impress just a little too much, and now it's all gone. And what was it worth? Where did it get you? Huh? You sat there and publicly humiliated yourself on Twitch? You know what I'm saying? You sat there and got yourself suspended for 24 hours. Then you come back, don't want to give anybody an explanation, say that you have a contact on Twitch, a couple of people on Twitter, shouts out to them because they know who I'm talking about, actually track the guy down in about 5 minutes. You go ahead on a pre-stream and say, oh yeah, this guy said that the guys who tried to go ahead and get me suspended were nothing more than idiots. They had no right to do what they did. But I got a contact now, so I'm all good. They can't touch me. This is a minor setback. But then when they go ahead and put pressure on him, about to go ahead and make wine out of all those grapes, apparently he said he never said that. He said he wouldn't have had a reason to. And he doesn't understand why he's been dragged into this situation. You see where the raisins come up, Phil? I should go to your parents and find out what the situation is. They're getting up there in age, starting to prune up a little bit. We're not going to do that. But you went ahead and lied on the very person who might have actually helped you out. For what? To prove to your fan base that you had the situation on lock? That everything was okay? Because let me peep the game to you a little bit more. Phil is not worried about trying to prove himself to detractors. He probably hasn't been meaning to do that for a while. But now he just tries to convince this flock, this group of piglets, and they're getting smaller and smaller by the day, that, hey, I have everything under control. He doesn't even care about trying to prove anything to them. Just shut up and believe me. That's all he wants. Don't go out to any of these detractor channels and get the truth. Just believe me. But then at the same time, you sit there and call them children and you contradict them. Now, the funny thing is not everyone that's in your fan base, Phil, are kids. So when one of these older people in your fan base, in your cult, question you with some logic, you call them idiots for believing it. You call them gullible. You call them all these things. You put them down. And slowly but surely, they're getting tired of your shit. And then the younger kids who are coming up, you sit there and insult them with things about, oh, you guys don't know what the laws are. Oh, you guys don't understand how taxes work. Oh, you don't do this, that, and the third. You don't understand. You're just a stupid kid. Shut up and give me your money when I need it. So now they're looking at, well, do I really need to contribute to this? Is this really where I need to be putting my time in at? I would assume Golden Colts was a young man in his own right. Look at where he's at. Brightside's over there on Kiwi Farms. Don't know where King Juzzle's at. Most of the whales are gone. But the other ones, though, let's peep game on that for a second. The other ones, they're the interesting ones. Because they're the ones right there who were sitting there gifting subs. Trying to inflate the accounts. Now, excuse me. Let me be perfectly honest with you. They hurt you, Phil, more than they helped. Because I've always told you, Phil, that you only think in the short term, never in the long term. And I told you that the reason why I do videos like this is because you affect these young people in the exact same way. You're teaching them and you're leading them down the same positions that you're in. You have to think 15 steps in front of everybody else. Whether they have a plan or not is irrelevant. But you need to always have a plan. You need to always be thinking. No matter what your position is in life, no matter how good you have it or how bad you have it. But you, Phil, you perpetuate to these young guys here, to these young people that, oh, you guys are 15, 16, the world ain't that bad. I just had it rough because people hate me because I was the realest person on YouTube. But I need some help. And if you guys love me, if you guys love my content, and you guys want to see me live this out and save my business, you'll contribute to me. And what you do is you go ahead and you become the proprietor of this poison. And they just suck it up. And then they go ahead and take that logic over to somebody else and they sit there and laugh at them. And then they run back to you and be like, well, this person said this, Phil. No. And then you can't even give them an actual straightforward answer. You just shut them down. Or you tell them, don't worry about it. They're just haters. And most of them are just like, okay, Phil. Yeah, you're right, Phil. You've turned the very brain dead idiots that you used to like to call your detractors and you call other people who believe the detractors. Now your fan base is starting to turn into that too. It's amazing how that worked out. So now, like I said, you're applying you're trying to go ahead and come up with these short-term solutions for long-term problems. So someone went out of his way and gave 70 gifted subs. We find out that a couple more people gave some gifted subs too, handing that shit out like it was hotcakes to anybody who wanted it. And they thought it was going to stop the bleeding. Because they themselves realized, oh shit, we need to go ahead and keep Phil's sub count up because that's the only way people are going to believe that he's doing well. Until the next month happens. And then they go into decline again. Because they realize now giving you money through Patreon isn't going to work. You're too greedy for that. Patreon's never going to be enough. Your focus is on Twitch. So now they want to help you there. When your focus was on YouTube, they wanted to help you with Patreon. You see how you screwed yourself over, Phil? I told you, go ahead and continue to focus on YouTube. Try to regain the confidence that you once had there. You have what, 160, 180,000 subs? How many of them really actually come out there to see you? Give them a reason to come back to your YouTube channels. And then bring them over to Twitch. I tried to tell you that early on. But I'm just a stupid detractor, right, Phil? I don't know anything about anything. You're the one with the successful business. You're the one with the 10-year legacy. Right? I mean, I'm sorry, Phil. I never had to beg anybody for money. I worked for everything that I earned. Can you say that? You might have worked for some of it. You certainly squandered all of it. But that's neither here nor there. So, all these gifted subs were thrown out, then they expired. Now, people are losing confidence. So now no one wants to renew. No one wants to resub. Now the piggy banks are starting to get tapped out. Drying up quick. Starting to turn into the Sierra over there. Not a drop of water in sight. Or, if there is water, going over to, shouts out to Volt Boy and David Davison, there's salt everywhere. Salt water everywhere. Or, as the old saying goes, all this water around and not a single one to drink. You're a perpetual salt mine, Phil. You have the whole ocean around you and you're thirsty. You can't do a damn thing about it. So now what? So now what happens? So now, like I said, you have your sub drive. You get your $107 out of $2,000. You take the girlfriend out shopping. And where is Kat? What is her situation? Yet again, we haven't seen much of her. Hope we're going to see her soon. I hope you would go ahead and show that you're somehow a man of success. And go ahead and spread that success to everybody else. Flaunt it in the detractor's face. And now you can't even say, and now what's worst of all, the very thing that you prize most of all, not just your fourth place finish at Evo, not just your little accolades from all your local tournaments and all these things. Your voice, your word is the one thing that you hold above all else. And now you don't even have that, because now Fundraiser is no longer allowed to be set. So now what are you going to do, Phil? So now how do we work that out? I can see you on stream struggling, stuttering even, because you went ahead and already convinced yourself and implanted it in yourself to go ahead and react to this. That's what suggestive thought is. It's kind of a way of tricking yourself into believing something that's not really true. And in turn, you have to believe it. You have to believe your own line, Phil, your own lies, Phil, so you can perpetuate that to everybody else. But now, one of the key words that you used to use is no longer there. It's no longer in your vocabulary. So now, now you can't even go ahead and put that out there. The very thing that would cause people to react, to try to scramble to get you money, now they don't have it anymore. Now you need YouTube. Because now YouTube is your post. It's your soapbox even. Now you have to perpetuate how much help you need there. Can't do it on Twitch anymore. Because Twitch will smack you down. And as it's my understanding on Twitter, Twitch has the 3 strike rule. You have 1 strike on you that is there permanently and never comes off. I don't know if I have any true verification on that yet. That's just what I was told. I'm not really sure if that's how that works. But if it's true and it never goes away, then you only need 1 or 2 more strikes and you're gone. And like I said, that's if that's true. I'm not quite sure. I would think a strike would eventually go away. Eventually. Or you could somehow, ask if it can be alleviated from your account. Because that would suck if you caught a strike and you could never make it go away. But that's neither here nor there. So Phil, you've been neutered in the worst way possible. It's a shame. But like I said, you just wanted that little bit of extra that you thought you deserved. Just like with Nintendo, you wanted that little bit more money out of Nintendo. You were already making good money, but you felt that Nintendo owed it to you. It was the ingredients that you use in your art. You put down your $50 or $60 and you used that money to pay for the ingredients for your art. You got a little too greedy and it came back on you. Ladies and gentlemen, the gout, the doubt, and the snout. Praise be Almighty. Thank you for this moment. Thank you. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here with Snort Burnell, Dspgaming. Fundraiser on February 28th failed. Whew. Ladies and gentlemen, I come to you as a humble newsman and come to the general realization on the fact that Phil has failed at the one thing that he should have been good at, conning kids out of their money. Whew. What happened, Phil? What happened? You had the scheme all laid out. Everything was supposed to be gravy. Then you caught that suspension. And then instead of being a man and coming back and telling them what happened, you went ahead and put yourself in a worse situation, lied, and told them it's none of their business what happened. Don't worry about that. Only listen to me. But now you have a real problem. Because then the fundraiser happens the next day, and because people thought you were suspended off Twitch, no one showed up. And then the few people who did show up weren't the whales. And then more importantly than that, as I saw, as many people may have saw before those threads and certain posts were taken down, people were losing confidence in the fact that all these subs were purging off of you, losing 10, 15 subs a day on Twitch. It's kind of funny because you're starting to flounder on Twitch before you've ever really started. Everything's going down the drain and you can't do anything to stop it. It's slowly but surely happening the way I thought it would, where Twitch has become the new YouTube. And as I had told you before, and as ladies and gentlemen, as I've told you as the anchor of this network, Phil is his greatest detractor. No one will never hurt Phil more than Phil. And he's proved it. And that little tirade that he had where he was trying to tell people in his chat, why are you guys talking about Pizza Hut or talking about whatever food of choice? You guys are supposed to be here interacting with the stream, i.e. give me money. You guys are supposed to be supporting the playthrough, meaning give me money. They were so bored that they were reduced to talking about food. And not even a DSP tries it. And Phil had to go ahead and blow off some steam on it. It's a shame. I don't want to say that I was able to predict this. I don't want to say that I actually saw this coming. But I guess I did. But a lot of other intelligent people saw it too. Sadly, we were all cursed with the curse of seeing through bullshit. They're seeing through a man's lies. And sadly, even fewer of us were cursed with the ability to go ahead and witness a person, to see into a person's soul and see for what he really has there. Now, in truth, I wish I had D's talent where I could kind of show you the man that he was and show you what he could have been if he had gone the right way. And maybe there's a slight chance of redemption. But sadly, ladies and gentlemen, I don't have that ability. My ability is to point out his lies. My ability is to predict his movements and watch him fall into it. I've been told that, oh, well, hey, GTG, you know he watches your channel. Or as one of you said, he watches the network. I like that sound. And so does some of the people that actually come over there who are part of his cult. So it's possible that he's trolling you. How's he hurting me? If nothing else, then he's a puppet. If nothing else, he's a tool. Because if he doesn't have my foresight and he just takes my idea and moves with it, if he takes my words and becomes my parrot and goes ahead and repeats it without understanding behind it, understanding the meaning, understanding what's supposed to be there, without actually digesting the substance or even ingesting it, then what good is it to him? It's like going ahead and taking a horse to water, not implying anything, but going ahead and dragging a horse to water and going ahead and being like, hey, do what you got to do here. If he doesn't know how to drink the water, then what was the point of bringing him to the water? You see what I'm saying? So the concept of him trolling me by going ahead and doing this, that, and the third is irrelevant. It's irrelevant if he's doing the same thing with Almighty Tevin, calling him, saying that Almighty Tevin is the biggest threat to him. When in truth, Almighty Tevin may have very well been one of the saviors of him. He's someone who's consistently tried to help him out on the things that he's doing wrong, not just on YouTube, but also on Twitch. And yet he felt no reason to listen. Whether it was because of the color of his skin, whatever. Whether because he didn't like his approach, whatever. It doesn't really matter why Phil chose not to listen to the knowledge. The point is he didn't listen to it. He's perpetuated his own downfall. And just because you can go ahead and hit the ground, as he's done now and failed, it doesn't mean he can't continue to fall. Last time I checked, there were 7 layers of hell. And in a little while, if he doesn't figure out how to make all this work, he's going to start hitting layers. Failure, in general, is when someone gives up completely. If you get up and get knocked down, and you continue to get up, that's not failure. But it's when you stay down. When you realize that you can't do anything else. Or when you convince yourself that there's nothing else that can be done, and you just accept what happens, that's failure. And at Phil's age, and with the amount of influence that he has over these kids, as he likes to call them, which they are, you should be trying to perpetuate something different than that. In truth, he should be just a Let's Player making shitty Let's Plays and shutting the hell up. But since he wants to bring him into his personal life, since he wants to tell him how the world works, then you should try to perpetuate and try to propagate something positive. And see, that's something that's going on a lot on Twitter, where they're saying that, he's trying to have this DSP positive situation again, which he does a couple times each year, and it's failing miserably because he doesn't believe in it. No one cares about DSP positive or whatever that's just called. DS positive. No one cares. It doesn't mean a thing. Not even the Phil. Phil can convince himself of a bunch of different lies on how successful he is, on how many haters he has that wants to see his downfall, on all the lies that are perpetuated about him. He can go ahead and convince himself of a lot of things. But at the end of the day, when Phil wakes up and he looks himself in the mirror, he sees what's there. And he sees what we see. I see, personally, a man who's beaten. I see a man who's battered. I see a man who has already given up. He just is too prideful to actually admit it to himself. I see a man who's constantly dragging himself further and further into the abyss, but he believes that he's doing better. But that's neither here nor there. I'm just a dog in a sharp suit. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News. Always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on. A GTG Network and Productions. You guys all know the slogan. It's time to watch me work.
Sound good?
Sounds
So,
great.
ladies and gentlemen, today is the end of February.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, yet again, this is Snort Burnell, Dspgaming. Fundraiser on February 28th failed. Let's go.
If you're not aware, that means it's the last chance.
I really need the money to keep this house. I still need your help. I need to raise a lot of money this month.
Yep.
I'm going to need your guys' help. I really am. I'm going to need your support. I need it. Please.
For us to do a few things. It's the very last chance for us to try to hit the subscriber goals here on the channel. It was very hard to maintain what I had. We have seen quite a decline in the amount of subs that we've had here on the channel. All right. So, number one, effort today, as I play various multiplayer games and try to entertain you and be interactive with you guys today, is to try to see if we can boost the subscribers. Can we get the subscribers back up to around where it was? Can we possibly even hit the subscriber goals for the month? All right, if you guys don't remember, the subscriber goal for the month was 550 subs. I was going to start a new cooking show with my girlfriend, Kat.
Wow.
600 subs, and I was going to do a Patriots Choice playthrough.
I'm not really feeling, oh no, I'm defeated, I'm deflated because, February was a slower month or whatever. But, the thing that kind of is a little bit worrying for me is that if you guys aren't aware, this last Monday, okay, I
got suspended and decided to do my taxes all day, even though he was only supposed to do his taxes in the evening. Good job, Phil.
taxes. And basically from what I saw, I can't confirm anything because I'm not a tax attorney slash accountant. But from what I saw, I know I'm going to owe back taxes for the state of Washington, which we don't know what those are yet. I'm going to owe more taxes for the 2017 federal, and then my first payment for the 2018 federal. All this is going to be due in April. And I'm like, man, having a slow month here in February is like the worst possible timing for this to happen. All right. So I need to try to raise as much as humanly possible by the end of this month. Listen, I need to stream to make money to pay my bills. All right.
But who paid for Kat to move in? Who paid for the new clothes, the cell phone? Who's going to end up paying to get her all squared away with her license and everything like that? Who's coughing up all the money for that, Phil? And I asked that because she just bought herself a new PS4 Pro with the $500 tax return she got. Maybe, just maybe, I'm not here to tell you guys how to use your money, but maybe that should have gone to the essentials first before we start thinking about new game consoles. Just saying. I'm not saying they have to necessarily go to you, meaning to your taxes or the house or anything, but if she needs new clothes and all this stuff, maybe it could have gone to that. Maybe, even better, maybe it could have gone to savings. And then once she starts working or streaming or putting videos on YouTube, whatever it is that's going to be her occupation, then maybe we could, worry about getting a PS4 Pro then. So maybe instead of getting it in in February, maybe we could get it in like October, November. Just saying, maybe we could have done that. I don't know. That might be just crazy of me. DSP News.
I gotta take a steaming dump right now. I need that money. I really do. I need that money to pay my bills.
Sure do.
Your support right now with cheers, subs, and tips is paying the bills. Everything's got to be about making the almighty dollar.
And so I gotta do something about it. So today is a special day where my goal here is to try to really boost the sub numbers if we can, and try to get subscriptions on par with try to get them at least closer to where they were last month. In addition, folks, today I will also have a tips goal. Similar that I did, remember back in December, we had this stream stats leaderboard up where, we had things like top tipper for the day and the amount of tips raised that day with a goal. the amount of subs goal and the top cheerer. We're going to do all that again, just like I did in December. It's going to be the same kind of deal today. And if, in fact...
And see, the thing is he, as Snow Brunel had said, either, it's essentially get rich or the pigs or the piglets are going to die trying, essentially. he was completely banking on all of this happening, all of this working out in a lot of ways. And it's very possible that his suspension hindered some of that. But in truth, they may have just not had the money to give it to him. They may have not have had the money to give. It's hard to say. It's hard to say.
I've brought back the cheering bar. If you're not aware what this is, it is a bar where, if people do cheer with bits, there'll actually be a cool bar that'll fill up on screen. You'll hear a little noise. You probably already heard that.
But see, here's another thing, too. He should have that up there all the time. He shouldn't just have that up there for special events, air quotes, because you can't call it fundraisers anymore. That should be up there all the time. But he only wants to bring it up there when he feels that he needs it, instead of just having it up there all the time, and he thinks that it's just going to become a hindrance to him. But see, now, given his current situation, it might start showing up more often. And it might even find itself a permanent place, because he has no choice. And in turn, this right here may very well be the foundation of his worst nightmare coming about. We'll talk about that later on.
It's a little noise. So for those who are like, man, what the hell is that noise I'm hearing constantly? What's this bar on the screen? I'm basically bringing back a bunch of stuff that people really liked on that special stream that I did at the end of December. Okay.
I'm not the person who sits here and during my content constantly mentions please subscribe. You're never going to see please subscribe on the screen here on my stream. That's not me. I'm not a person who constantly advertises. I'm not a person who does that. There are people on Twitch who have things set up so that while they're live streaming and someone becomes a paid subscriber and or donates, which I disagree with, people setting up PayPal links to donate, but that's just me, that all of a sudden, oh, a new subscriber, the entire stream gets some kind of an audio cue saying there's a new subscriber. Everything stops. Everything comes to a grinding halt. And they so-and-so, thank you for becoming a new subscriber. And some streamers have some catchphrase. Thanks for joining this or that, or blah, blah, blah. They say something stupid when someone becomes a paid subscriber. Woo-hoo. So all that, and by the way, I did run all this by Twitch, and they all said, all this is fine, all the stuff that I did in December is good. I know you're lying.
Exactly.
I'm good at lying.
Not really.
Yeah, I'm a gamer! So as long as I adhere to the stuff that I've already done, I should be fine. No problems here.
And here's another thing. If you're part of Phil's fan base, that right there should have tipped you off. He's talking about running a fundraiser, and he said that he had to run this by Twitch before he did so. And you know that he just came off suspension the day before. This right here, he told you the truth right here, right then and there. He told you why he essentially was taken off of Twitch for 24 hours. It was all right there. Which is what I've tried to perpetuate amongst the detractor community. Listen to what these detractors put out there, and listen to the particular segments that they use. The truth is right there. Why you think they took the liberty of cutting it out and putting it up on screen for you? This isn't a misconception. It's the truth that you're not paying attention to. Because he's always doing this broke Jedi mind trick situation, and he hits his fan base with so much bullshit that it's very hard to kind of decipher what's real and what's not. And you're kind of in this perpetual cloud of gout and doubt and whatnot that you have no idea what to do. And after a while, you just kind of go along with it because there's just so much to try to pick through. That's essentially what the plot is. That's essentially what he does. And people have been saying this for a long ass time. So, but like I said, you pay attention very closely to what Phil says. He tells the truth. He doesn't mean to, by all means, but he does. You just got to pay attention to it.
So that's good, okay? So that's kind of the goal today. To drive subs, to drive tips, and have a fun interactive stream with you guys where the stuff that I'm playing in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds and Call of Duty World War II lends itself to a lot of, interaction with you guys on stream.
By the way, I really desperately need the money to help with my tax situation.
Yep.
So, hint, hint, save the house.
Obviously.
So it's not just me doing narrative style playthroughs, but instead more interactive gameplay. So it could be pretty fun. Okay.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Okay.
That's what we're doing all day today. All right. That's what we're doing. So I hope you guys are excited for a fun new day of multiplayer gameplay. That's what we're gearing for today. All right.
Shout outs! Critical for days, did another cheer, thank you, sir. And he says, you won't believe this. Detractors are harassing some guy who think that you talked to from Twitch staff. The guy has no idea why they're attacking him. Yeah, that guy who they're attacking is not anyone who I've talked to on Twitch staff. So they're completely wrong, and they're literally wasting their time. They have no idea what they're doing. They're just complete idiots. Okay.
If you either cheer, sub, or tip, you will get a shout out. But I'm also doing some special things. You can actually see this tips bar. Excuse me, it's not a tips bar. It's a cheers bar that's on the screen. If you cheer tonight, there'll be a special little sound effect as a little chime to.
And the thing is, right, is if you go to any other Twitch streamer, they have like elaborate stuff. Like it's not even next level. It's next level compared to Phil, but like they have all this elaborate stuff that they do. You know what I mean? That is just done on the regular. You know what I mean? You have people who have really stepped up and made all these different ways when it comes to different stuff like cheers and bits and all that stuff. I don't know anybody who really asks for bits. To be honest with you, I think Phil's really the only person. It's really just cheers, subs, and tips for everybody else. Phil's the only one who kind of hangs on bits for whatever reason. But they have all these different elaborate things that pop up when you do those things. With Phil, this is day one Twitch. Essentially, it's day one Twitch for him, and he acts like it's just something so incredible. And he has people who do different things for him, and you couldn't have them, I don't know, work on something to kind of make it a little bit more engaging, to make it a little bit more interactive, to kind of give you some pop. Essentially, you're just kind of going with this day one stuff, and there's nothing special about it at all. Unless people in his cult really don't watch anybody else but Phil. But we all know that's not true. So when they look at this, it's kind of like patting Phil on the head and being like, good job, Phil. Yay. And there's nothing else there. There's no substance. Just saying. DSP News.
Signify a cheer that's been received, and the cheers bar will increase depending on how many bits are cheered tonight. In addition, the top cheerer, their name will be displayed at the top of the screen, and I will update that every match that I play in Call of Duty. Okay? We have a subs goal for the month, as you guys know, that we're trying to reach. So, by the way, shout out to Henry Maya78, who just subscribed to the channel.
You are my bitch.
Wow.
Thank you for the free money, dummy.
Oh, wow.
And you can lick my balls.
Whoa.
Very nice. Thank you very much, Henry Maya, as I was explaining everything. In addition to that,
We've got a tips goal that I'm trying to reach. It's pretty much just a number I pulled out of thin air. That's 100% a lie.
Exactly.
And it's 100% wrong. It's the same number that I used back in December.
Yeah, I was about to say $2,000, $2,000, 2K, 2 stacks isn't just a number you pull out of thin air. If a number you pull out of thin air is $200, he should have did that. He got greedy. He got so immensely greedy. It was watching him crash and burn. I got to tell you, it wasn't as exciting as I thought it'd be. It was just after a while, it was just kind of just sad to watch. It was just like wow, just wow.
Remember when I did a very similar event? We're nowhere near it.
Oh man.
I certainly was not expecting that we were going to get anywhere near it, but it was just something out of nowhere to motivate people to try to tip. It didn't really work too well earlier on the earlier stream, to be real frank with everyone.
Yeah, it says he got some subscribers, some cheers, and about $50 in tips. That was his first stream.
But we'll see what happens tonight. I think what happened was earlier today, a lot of people were bored because PUBG is pretty much wearing out its welcome. There's not much to do in it.
Then why don't you go ahead and do what I had recommended you to do, Phil, and flip back and forth between PUBG and Fortnite. Flip back and forth between both of these games. Because not only, you said you're trying to maintain what you have, right? Okay, I get that. But also you should be trying to entice other people to come to your stream who are new. And let's be honest, if you want to see really good PUBG play, or even interactive PUBG play, or just interesting PUBG play, there's plenty of other people you could go to. Fortnite would give Phil a bit of a variety. It would give him some diversification in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? If he flips back and forth between that, he could actually draw some people in. Fortnite is a bit more colorful, it's a bit more quirky and whatnot, but don't be wrong, it still has a meta to it and whatnot, and it would give him a much better learning curve. It would kind of give his brain a bit of a reset, and if he flips back and forth between the two. A good example of that is watching Dr. Disrespect. I mean, granted, he's good at both of them, but you can see PUBG, he's really, really good at PUBG. You see that at player with Fortnite, he's getting better and better at it the more he plays it. He's consistently improving. And not just him, other people too. I'm just going to use him as my example. So, yet again, him going back and forth between the games, I don't know if Dr. Disrespect realized it, but by him flipping back and forth between the two, one game is playing off the other. And that's why his skill level is consistently growing. So, and that's just the example. He's one of many people who do this. So, if you're going to continue to play PUBG, then he should play Fortnite and whatnot. And it just gives him a bit more variety. And it might actually even help him improve. Not to say Phil wants to improve at anything, but just saying.
Boring game. They haven't added anything to it. It's getting pretty boring at this point.
Boring meaning that he can't make any money off of it, or he's barely making any money off it.
So then I switched to Star Wars. People were also bored.
What the hell are you doing playing Star Wars for? No one cares about that. Like I said, Star Wars and Call of Duty World at War II, no. Like I said, stick to those two particular games in general, Fortnite and PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and you'll be fine. Just saying.
I think tonight will be the opposite. I don't think people are going to be bored because, Call of Duty World War II, now that I'm doing better at it, has picked up big time. I think it's actually a much more entertaining game to watch me play.
So yeah, I think that tonight should be a lot more exciting, and you guys should be a lot more entertained, and perhaps that would motivate people, to either subscribe or tip tonight. It would be really nice if it did, because right now it would help me out tremendously in regards to all the stuff coming up, including, I just did my taxes on Monday, and I know I'm going to have a big amount of money due coming in April.
And see, here's the thing. He can't say, there's certain things he can't say now, right? He's not allowed to say. But he still goes ahead and perpetuates this right here. And it makes me wonder, right? If eventually is Twitch going to tell him, hey, you can't talk about, your person. I know he can't say, hey, give me tips because my money's going to go here. He can't say that. But then again, as Snorpernell says, he's passively begging, slipping in this whole situation with his taxes and how much he's going to owe. How long until Twitch clamps down on that too? And what would perpetuate that is the fact that he's lying on this guy on Twitter who's associated with Twitch, and he says that his contact. This guy right here is probably not liking all this extra attention he's getting. So maybe, and we know that there are people monitoring Phil's streams just in case he violates the rules again. But it's very possible that someone's going to sit there one night and be like, why is he continuing this? Why is he saying that? You know what? I'm going to contact him real fast and say that he can't do it. And since Phil's already desperate, Phil's going to get agitated. And when he gets agitated, he gets nervous. And that's when he starts to lash back. Which, if you guys kind of remember, that's what happened to him the first time with Twitch when they asked him to turn down his bitrate and whatnot. With that being said, all he's going to do is end up perpetuating that same situation yet again. Just different circumstances. So one night, the wrong mod is going to come at him a certain type of way. He's going to end up flipping out on him. And then there's going to be some real problems. But we'll have to wait and see when that happens.
So, subbing or tipping would help significantly in that regard. Okay, just saying.
Let me fucking unleash the beast. Let the green roll in. I'm salivating at the goddamn mouth. You feed me more. Feed me, Seymour. Feed me. That's your fault. You created the monster. You unleashed the monster.
Sure did.
And now your complaint is, well, the monster's too powerful to control.
Well,
fuck you. That's your fault.
Wow.
This kind of shit needs to come out. This kind of shit needs to be exposed for what it is. It's greed. It's greed. Greed is massively strong. I have no fucking self-control.
Sure
Call of Duty is not boring, and I've been doing better at it. This should be a pretty exciting stream. So please, let's stay focused on what's going on and not just sit here and get derailed by a bunch of people who are purposely trying to do it. Let's try to make tonight a nice, positive, fun stream, okay? It is the final stream of February, and I do need monies, you know, your help here to keep it positive and keep it supportive and, you know, have a good stream
absolutely great.
Okay? Let's not be derailed by these fools. And sadly enough, when it comes April, I may need to do another fundraiser to pay my taxes. I'm a realist.
Sorry about that. I got caught off guard.
Let the green roll in.
Oh boy. Here, let's bring that one back. Oh my god, I'm so sorry about that.
And,
I was not ready.
have a good stream
I was
tonight,
not ready.
okay?
He wasn't
Not be
ready.
derailed by these fools. And sadly enough, when it comes April, I may need to do another fundraiser to pay my taxes. I'm a realist.
Alright guys, so February 28th, fundraiser was a failure. Alright, so current subs, he was at 444 out of 550, so they failed there. Let's see here. And tip goals. They made $107.90 out of the $2,000 they were supposed to, that he was shooting for. $107.90 out of $2,000, and that was for the day. He could have gone to work and made more money. Oh my god. Oh my god. He could have gone to work. He could have gone to work and made more money than that. He could have gone to work. He could have gone to work and worked a 10-hour day. And worked a 10-hour day and made twice that. Oh my god. That's so amazing. Oh, I'm sorry. It brings a slight tear to the eye. A slight tear. Oh. All right. Let me be professional about this. Okay, so oh, Phil. You're on a sinking ship. It's already in the water. You know what I'm saying? Frostbite is slowly but surely creeping up on you. And the life preserver's right there. The life preserver being a job. A job. You can still keep what semblance of an empire. You can keep Goutopia. You gotta get a job though, man. It's just, it can't be sustained anymore. It really can't. Okay? You just can't. It's all the writing's on the wall and you won't see it. Whew. Okay, here we go. They couldn't even get the extra 10 cents to bring it up to 108. Oh my god, that hurts. All right, let's continue. Let's finish this up. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Let the green roll in. No, sorry.
Whew.
That's not how it really works.
Apparently. Jesus Christ. It's like someone, you know what that kind of reminds me of? I mean, granted, I didn't live during that time, but like when like Attila the Hun, when he died, allegedly he had some type of like blood hemorrhage or something, and he kind of he basically choked on his own blood and vomit. And that's how he died on his wedding night. It makes you wonder if that's what that sounds like. You know what I'm saying? It sounds like a dying man dying on his own fluids. You know what I mean? Like, it sounds horrifying every time you hear it. It sounds so horrible. You know You know what I mean? I said at one time it sounds like a bear dying. Sorry about that, bear. I didn't mean that. My bad, buddy. But it sounds like a man who's dying inside. Seriously. You know what I mean? It sounds like it's just that. It sounds like a dying man just letting out the final final defiance in some ways when he laughs like that. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. Whew. Thank God for Snort Burnell capturing that though, but god damn, it's depressing. So depressing.
Unbelievable.
Listen to it.
Wow.
Wow. And there's that little snicker thing he does. Listen to that. And you know he does that when he thinks he's winning. He does that when he thinks he has the advantage. Ugh, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
What a complete idiot. What pasta do you prefer?
Oh boy.
I prefer.
Alright guys, so that's the end of that. Jesus Christ, that was hurtful. So, in closing, what does he have left? What can Philip Burnell do now? As I said earlier, he only has two solutions, and he has to do them together. It's a combination of the two. He has to go back to YouTube. I mean, he has to really go back to YouTube. He either resurrects KO Gaming, or he goes back to doing the things that people ask for. I'll have the tweets in the video, but people do not want to see him and Kat doing a cooking show together. What they want to see is Poorly cooking with the king. He needs to do that. And obviously Kat is way too talented to be participating in that. So just let her hold onto the camera and let her just see what is the perpetual buffoon. You know what I mean? Just make a complete and total idiot of himself. But maybe he can't do that. Maybe she's, maybe she has OCD and she just can't see a train wreck happen. So maybe he can't even do that while she's there. Another thing, and the last thing, and people have been telling you this for years, Phil, get a job. Get a part-time job, man. Get a job, okay? You and Kat, if Kat has a job lined up for her, you guys just have to figure out your schedules and whatnot. Somebody dropped the other person off to work. You're working part-time, Phil, so you would get out before her. So then, you would go ahead and have access to the car. You come home, do your thing, then you pick her up. Or on other days, vice versa. However you guys have to work that out, you work it out. Now, you didn't do that with Panda, and you're perpetually making the exact same mistakes that you did with Panda, but you have to do something. You have to do something. Okay? This is not sustainable. You sat there and gambled, you got too greedy, and now Twitch has you by the balls. You already had a little fundraiser scheme going, and you completely screwed that up because you got too greedy. Now you can't use any of it. You need to do something else. And your best bet is to get a job. Is to get a job. And I know that's frightening. I know that's scary. I know that makes you feel like, oh, you have to get down on your hands and knees with the peasants and actually put in some work. You actually got to hit the block to get some change. Well, you don't have to actually hit the block, but because you don't have any street smarts. But you know what I'm saying? You might actually have to go ahead and hit the pavement and actually get some work done. But guess what? You got to do what you got to do if you really want to save that house, Phil. That's what it's come down to now. Mom and dad is up there in age. You can no longer squeeze any wine out of those grapes. That's a wrap. You have little to no friends to speak of. And unless Kat don't mind getting up there on Twitch or back on YouTube and actually shows what she's working with, I mean, what other options do you have, Phil? You're completely tapped out. And in truth, you going back to YouTube almost isn't viable because you already alienated the people that you have over there. So it really comes down to what you're going to do. I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News. Always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on. A GTG Network and Productions. This is GTG signing off. End of broadcast.
That brings us kind of back to like Mr. Gout, right? DSP. Mm-hmm. Phil is fucked. Phil is so horribly fucked. In another 2-3 years, he has nothing. He'll have a 10-12 year gap of no employment. He'll have 2 mortgages. He'll have a car payment. He'll have $25,000 in debt and credit cards. No money in the savings account. No money in his bank account. And he'll have a bunch of fucking anime figurines and fucking video game copies for consoles nobody gives a shit about. He's going to have to move back home with mom and dad. But the problem is, by then, mom and dad are getting up there in age, and they're not going to be able to take care of Phil. They're going to want Phil to take care of them. You know, you got all these older people, 50, 60 or so, their health is declining. He's going to basically spend the next 10 years of his life nursing his parents. And when they finally kick the bucket, the inheritance he gets is going to go to pay the debts he already has, and he'll be left with nothing. And then what's he going to do? He's going to be bagging groceries or pumping gas, and that's going to be his life until he's 80. And that's the fucking harsh reality, because he's not planning ahead. Phil made a lot of fucking money in the beginning, and Phil was smart. He would have put that shit away in a savings account, in a Roth IRA account. He would have invested it in the market. He would have done something intelligent with it. But he bought figurines, and he went on trips, and he bought fucking fancy cars, and he did stupid shit with the money he made because he had no foresight or pre-planning when it came to what's going to happen when this well dries up.